What's up, guys? This is Vizo, and I'm making this video because I had a lot of questions on how I cut the mouth on my dead mouse head. There's a lot of things I kind of missed, so I'm making this video just to help you guys out. Alright, so for the mouth, I cut it out and I made sure I unscrewed the both halves of the hamster ball. So you have to unscrew it. Every screw you have to unscrew it. You have to do it in two pieces, so you don't fuck up the top half. Now a lot of people saying, how do you cut the mouth so it doesn't, cut through the hole that you made to fit your head? Alright, so what I did was, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm gonna put it to the side. The cut I did goes more to the back than in the front. So I cut more bigger towards the back of the head than the front, because I knew I had to cut a hole for the mouth. So cut more towards the back of the head, and I think you'll be good with that, so you can fit through your head. And for the mouth, I cut it, usually they have vents. If you're using a hamster ball, they have little vents, and I use that as my point of reference. So I put make sure you know where your front and back of the head is. So this is my front. There's a vent right here. I put a dot here on the left and the right side, and I made sure where my middle is. So I put the dot in the middle where I wanted the bottom of the mouth to be, or how should I say it, how low the mouth I wanted it. So I put the dot here because I wanted my mouth to be this low, and I just I didn't do any measurements. I just used the vents as a point of reference. They have a vent right here, a vent right here, so I put a dot right here, and this is my middle. I put another dot here and the other dot that was here, and I kind of traced my way through there. Make sure you have a saw. You can find it real cheap, $7 at Home Depot. That's what I use to cut the mouth and the hole for my head. A lot of people asking me what I used for the mouth. I use this mesh that they have like an arts and crafts store or a Hobby Lobby. It's this is white see-through clear mesh. It's used for like sewing, I think. They come in like big triangles or big squares. I recommend you getting the biggest one, just so you could cut it for your mouth, like the size of your mouth, and it would be more easier. If you get it like the smallest one they have, like it's not gonna look good. It's gonna be like too small for your mouth. And then on the other side, I have this black see-through fabric that I got from Joann's. You can get it any arts and crafts store, and I just hot glued it, and I cut it, and I hot glued it on the edges, and you glue that right in. It's very flexible. You just put it in and you hot glue it, make sure it's all secured. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but it stays pretty good because it's pretty flexible. And another question is I'll take this out, the hard helmet. I didn't put the hard helmet in. I got the hard helmet from the Home Depot, and yeah, I didn't even know you had to put that together. You have to put the straps in the hard helmet. I didn't waste much time in that because it didn't fit inside well, so that I could see through, so my eyes will be elevated to be right here. It was too big, so I got these styrofoam cylinder circles, I guess you could say. I got a smaller one and a bigger one. The smaller one goes first, just to elevate my head, and then the bigger one last. And I taped the straps all around the edges, just like you would do on a hard helmet. There's like 4 little straps that it has, and I just taped them to the bigger styrofoam circle, so that it would stay on there. And I use that as my helmet, and it works pretty good. Like, I can see it's well elevated, and I could just see everything. The eyes, I used a styrofoam ball, a little bigger than a baseball, a little smaller than a softball, if you want to know the size. I cut it in half and kind of sanded down on the bottom just so that it'll fit on the head right, because it's kind of curved. And yeah, I gotta redo the X's on the eyes. They kind of fell off and they're a little too short. What I recommend is you getting the stretchy kind of fabric. Don't get the regular kind, because it's gonna be a pain in the ass just to put it on. And I put it on, I made sure I unscrewed the whole fucking head. You have to take all the screws just to work on it. You can't do it like in one piece. You have to do it in two pieces. Like, it'll be much easier for you to do that. And I put on the fabric on the top head, on the top half, and the bottom. And I just recommend you doing the stretchy kind of fabric, because this was real pain in the ass. And of course you can see it has all kinds of creases and folds and stuff I had to do just to make it look cleaner. But I think that's all I did. I did put some foam on the mouth just to give it more animation, I guess. So I put like a little strip of foam, not the regular hard foam. It's kind of like they use in packing and stuff. Very soft foam, and I glued it to the top and then the bottom. Just kind of use it like lips and stuff for the head. And I did it like that. And then when you're done fabricing the top and the bottom half, and I made little holes so I could put the screws back in and screw it on. I mean, the little holes are very small, so you can barely see them whenever you're done putting it back together. And the ears, I got 2 styrofoam, I guess, discs you can say, and I got some cardboard on both sides. I taped them on, and I made sure I cut the slots on the bottom of the ear to fit the roundness of the head. I made 2 holes. I drilled 2 holes on both sides, and I made sure those holes weren't too big, because I didn't want my ears to be all flimsy and wavy and all kinds of. Make sure they just not too big, not too small, that they squeeze in there and that they hold like tight. And then I stick the rods into the ear. So there's a rod going up here and a rod going this way, and then the ends I just stick them in the holes, and that's it. I also hot glued both of the fabrics of the ears and the head together so it'll give it more support, and that's how I did that. But I think that's it. Just make sure you, if you're using the hamster ball, use the vents as a point of reference when you cut your mouth. You could like use a Sharpie, put dots or lines, just to make sure you know where your middle is, your left and your right, and use those vents as a point of reference. Just cut it all around. And for the head, make sure you cut more towards the back of the head than the front, because you're gonna cut a hole for your mouth in the front. So make sure it's wider in the back than in the front. And for the mouth, you know, get the mesh from any craft store that they have around you. They have it in the sewing area, so that's where you can get that from. Alright, so I think that's it, and I hope that helped you out more. So later. Any questions or concerns that you might have, just hit me up in a message and I'll try to help you out any way I can. Alright guys, thanks, and please subscribe.